Yeah, what is going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of From My Experience Podcast. I know y'all wasn't expecting that, right? Well, I'm in a good mood. You know, the last few weeks have been all over the place. I've been tired. I had an externship this summer, so my summer was zapped away. But at the end of the summer, I found me a nice, lovely lady. Oh, yeah. So, I've ended the summer on a high note, and I'm back to work as well. So there's a lot going on, but I am happy and I am at peace with my inner self and the world. I'm not alone today. I have the world's greatest intern, the first intern who will always be remembered, whose legacy is cemented with the show, Miss Erica Brooks. Hey, Erica, what's going on with you?
Nothing much, nothing much. Hope everybody's doing all right too.
You bike at school, ain't it?
Yes, unfortunately,
What you
is
mean?
the end of my summer.
But you got what, one semester left?
Yeah, of course, but you know how that goes. 16 weeks of just professors. Ugh.
It's the fall semester though, so no school November. November and December don't even count.
Yeah, dude, they try and make us work now. They try and say, "Oh, well, technically since things are opening up, let's go back on campus." And now teachers emailing left and right this entire month being like, "Oh my gosh, can't wait to see y'all 2 weeks until the semester starts, 1 week till the semester starts, 2 days till the semester." I'm like, "Girl, leave me alone." Like, can't even enjoy my last day in peace.
All right, wait till you become an well, shoot, you already an adult. Wait till you out here in these streets of bills and where you at versus I'm waiting to see you. I need you to
No,
do
thank
this work
you.
that your Slack coworker isn't doing. Please.
No, thank you.
Oh my God. Well, shout out to you all of our listeners, our subscribers, FME_podcast on Instagram, From My Experience Podcast on Facebook. Thank y'all for the continued support. Don't forget, you can also support us by shopping with our affiliates, Acre Gold, Garner's Garden, and Jot Forms. That link is in the description. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the building. Now, she has been on the show before. She is always a pleasure to have on the show. Friend of the show. She's family. She helps keep my best friend on track and keep his head straight and focused. He didn't want me to say all that, but I'm going to say it anyway because I know that that's the role that she plays because he loves her to death. But I am very proud of her. She is an author who hooked me up with a very special birthday gift for my lovely lady. Whew, that got me some cool points, let me tell you. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we have we have a licensed professional counselor specializing in sex, Miss Jessica Vann.
I love that applause. I want to like take it with me everywhere I go. Like I need that. Just enter a room and play the applause.
Just clap every time you walk into a room.
Every time I walk into the room. Some things you said in the beginning, like first of all, you're big time Gardener's Garden. I love them.
Oh, word? Yeah, I love Gardener's Garden stuff.
Yes, and you're absolutely right about your homeboy. I keep him grounded. Okay, that's what I do. Should be getting paid for that too, but you know, whatever.
Ooh. He's gonna hear this.
And other forms of currency. He knows his wife. He knows I can't let that go. Like I have to say it. So I'm so happy to be back. This feels like home. It really does. So thank you for having me.
No problem. I was messing with Jessica before we started recording, y'all, because I'm very proud of her for putting herself out there. You want to see somebody on video consistently talking about all the things she's passionate about and sharing information. She is the one. Where do they need to be following you? Let's start with that.
Absolutely. So follow me on Instagram at Envision Counseling. It's IN Vision Counseling. on the TikToks at controversy. So initially, when I started TikTok, I wasn't going to do therapy stuff on there, but I can't help it. It's in my blood. So it's controversy. It's CONTRHO Versy. Y'all work it out. Y'all will find me. Um,
Oh, you
I
put the.
tried
I
to
see
make
what
it.
you did there.
You see what I did there? I tried to make it a little difficult, but shout out to Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. But yeah, so follow me on all the things. And I have to say thank you to Rob for even acknowledging that, because I hate social media, and it's been really hard for me to be on social media the way I am and be vulnerable. Um, so thank you, because that makes me feel like I'm actually doing something. And hopefully you're not just saying that because you know me. We'll talk offline.
No, I'm doing it because like I need to do more of that. Like I had like a good run of like 2 or 3 months where I was showing my face and doing stuff, and then I got busy and I stopped and I got lazy and just started posting. So
Mhm.
I need to actually get back to putting my face out there and letting people see my face, especially now that I'm in a relationship. Because when you're in a relationship, everybody pays you attention. Like, oh my God, I changed my relationship status today. Today being August 23rd, y'all. Almost 100 people have already liked and commented and blah blah blah. Post a new podcast
I may
episode,
have
3 likes.
I may have been one of those people, but I'm really happy for you, because I love relationships. I mean, it's what pays me, and yeah, so like you guys should come to my group, because it's never too early.
Your group. Let's talk about your group. I was gonna ask you. This is a fresh relationship, a fresh start. I've spoken about my last relationships. Well, my past relationships I've talked
Hmm.
about throughout the history of this podcast, but my last relationship I kind of broke that down on a past episode. And now I've healed, and I've moved on, and I'm with someone new. Over a year later, and it feels fantabulous.
It's always fantastic in those beginning stages, and my group is actually called Rebuild Intimacy, and it's an 8 week group for couples that starts September 13th. Now, when you look at it, it goes to November 8th, so that's not 8 weeks, that's 9 weeks. But the reason is because I do an action break in the middle. So you have your first 4 weeks. That middle week is intended for couples to do the things they learned in the first 4 weeks, because that's foundational.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like, Erica, you're saying you're in school. So it's like the 16 weeks, you start off with that foundation. And then in the latter 4 weeks, we get into like different types of intimacy and building those types of intimacy. When we say intimacy, people think sex right off the bat, right? And
Yes. Oh.
I was one of those people for a really long time, right? Because that's the fun part. Let's skip all the steps, get to the fun part. But even though it's called Rebuild Intimacy, it's not just for couples who have lost the spark. It's not just for couples who put time in. It's for couples who are dedicated to learning about their partner.
Mm.
Those foundational weeks, we're going to be taking some broad terms and narrowing them down. So let me ask you this, Rob. This is going to be like a mutual interview here.
Excuse
Erica,
me.
I'm going to get your business too, girl. So
That's right,
when you,
Erica.
when
Hey,
you,
hey, hey.
that's what I do.
What you mean? Hey,
When,
hey, hey.
it's funny because I'm a mass comm major, and then I went and got my master's in therapy. So I be in people's business hard. I know how to ask a good question. Okay. But to both of y'all, when you got into a relationship, or in the past, or now, Rob, did you ask your partner, what is your definition of love? And what does it mean for you in this relationship?
Um, no, I did not ask that question, but we did talk about our love languages.
Okay. Okay.
With
Erica, how about you? Ever asked that question?
No, but I definitely spoke about love languages and made it clear that I was like, love me in mine. I love you in yours.
I'm gonna blow y'all minds, and I may have said it on here before, so maybe not. I hate love languages. They are trash. Okay. The author of the love language writes from, he's a pastor, and so he writes from kind of a religious perspective. as far as relationships are concerned, Erica, you said something really important. Love me in mine, and I'll love you in yours. We can't make demands of our partner of how they love us. We just have to decide if the way they love us is the way we want to be loved, right? So for me, I'm all about words of affirmation. Please, wonderful I am. Tell me how good I look today. My husband is acts of service. So today, that man like nothing else. Why? Because I made dinner without him asking. I cleaned up without him asking. And I took care of the things that he would want to have done, right? But the fact of the matter is, I had to love him in his love language, but he also has to be communicative with me about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he has to accept the way I do it because sometimes the way I do it is, oh my God, thank you so much for cooking dinner. Like, I'm not gonna cook dinner. I know you cook dinner 3 times in a row, but thank you for doing that. So a lot of times I'm gonna love him in my love language and he's gonna love me in his. So that's what I anyway, it's confusing, it's a whole thing, but I don't really deal with that. Now, second question, did y'all ask what does monogamy mean to you and how does it show up in this relationship? Because y'all, I assume y'all are monogamous.
Yes, we're monogamous. I didn't phrase it like that, but I definitely asked her like what her expectations of me are as being her man and like things that she would want out of the relationship. We both quote unquote cleaned house before we made it official, so anybody we were talking to, flirting with, otherwise, basically got the axe like, yo, I'm taking this person serious. You got to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So don't be calling me, texting me, and no crazy shit. You're probably gonna see a relationship status pop up soon. Don't be commenting no crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you a heads up. Like this is it. So that's the conversation we had.
Yeah. So these things, a lot of times, monogamous couples, I'm an advocate for poly couples, even though I'm not in a poly relationship. That's a whole nother podcast. But monogamous couples aren't having these conversations. And so the first 4 weeks are going to take terms like love, romance, desire, and passion, and really break it down to see have these couples even talked about these things?
Mm-hmm.
Because if your partner thinks love means love me the way I want you to love me and do the things I tell you to do, but you think love means that we can sit down and have conversations and things are negotiable, y'all might be in the same book, but y'all definitely not on the same page.
Very true.
So the goal here is to get couples on the same page and then dive into what intimacy looks like for them.
Ah, that's very interesting. You know what else is funny? You mentioned people. I just sent her something. I'm gonna read it. I just sent her something about conversation. Somebody
Juicy.
posted on. No, someone posted us on Facebook, which is funny. It says before you get married, discuss bills, parenting styles, credit, debit, not credit, not debit, debt, religion, how to
Mhm.
deal with family, what beliefs will be instilled in your children, childhood traumas, sexual expectations, partner expectations, financial
Juicy.
expectations, family health history, mental health history, bucket list, dream home, careers and education, political views, and whatever else comes to mind. Love alone is not enough. I sent that
Amen.
to her and I was like, what haven't we covered? And she only named like 3 things because
Mhm.
literally this was quick. We started talking at the end of June and we made it official August 10th. But the conversations, like I'm older now. I'll be 37 in December. So like the way I talk to and approach women now is way different. Let's not bullshit each other for 6 months. Like
Right.
if I
Right.
feel the
Please don't.
vibes with you and you feel the vibes with me, all right, let's cut through the bullshit. What you got going on with your life for real?
Yeah.
This is what I got going
Yeah.
on in my life for real. Okay. Oh, all right, you can work with that. Cool. I can work with that. All right, let's have some more conversations. So it's real conversation. It's not what you saw, what you thought about the movie on Netflix. It's like, yo,
Right.
like, how are you investing in your future? Or if if I wanted to teach abroad in Japan for a year, would you come with me? Like shit like that. Like real shit that might actually
Yeah.
happen. Cause I'm like, yo, we got
And what would
options.
it require? Yeah, and what would be required for you to come along with me, right? Like
Yeah.
these are things that are important because I can tell you all about a whirlwind relationship. I re-met my husband in November. We had our first date in December. I was pregnant in January. Like we were married 2 years after that. Like we really like expedited the whole process. And all those things on the list that you mentioned will come up again and again and
Mm-hmm.
again in your relationship, and your views will change. The four topics that I chose, I felt like were foundational because no matter how much we say, no bullshit, we need to talk about bills, we need to talk about household expectations, roles, this, and other. Everybody wants to be loved.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be desired.
Yes.
You want romance in your life and you want passion. And when we get into passion, we talk about not just the passion you share between one another, but your individual passions. Because when we get into intimacy, we talk about barriers to intimacy. We're going to talk about um, types of intimacy. And sometimes one type of intimacy is sharing.
Hmm.
And that means sharing my hobbies with my partner. I I do jewelry making, and I you are a mess. I do
Go ahead.
jewelry
I'm gonna share
making,
after you share. Go ahead.
and I do crystals and things like that. My husband could not care less about crystals. You know, if I bring another crystal in this house, I might get in trouble. However, he'll ask me, "Well, what's this one supposed to do? What is this for?" Oh, okay, that's really nice. He went and got me a crescent moon crystal display cabinet, custom made with the phases of the moon on it. Most important, one of the most important gifts I've ever gotten from him.
Mm.
The other is a shadow box. I don't know which way to lean, but it is a shadow box in the back with my dad's pictures in it and his DSM. You know, my dad's deceased. So for my husband, that means I have to listen to him talk about photography. I have to listen to him tell me about these cameras and say words that I have no idea what they mean. But he's sharing himself and he's sharing his passion with me. The passion is not always about the rip my clothes off in the door before we get in the house. You know, the passion is sometimes about what do I like? What does my partner like? You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah. So I'm 1,000% with you. Every girlfriend that I've ever had, probably minus my first one because we were so young and we
Mm-hmm.
ended up in different states. But you basically become this. I need to find a better way to say this. Like you become like a lifelong project for me. I want to know everything. I want to know what you like, what makes you tick, and stuff like that because it helps me help you. Like it helps me to
Yes.
give you meaningful gifts or things that will matter or help you get to the next step. And the reason I teared up a little bit is because, oh, so my girl just texted me today. She said, "Oh, I meant to ask you, what animes do you watch? Because I like anime." And
Come
so
on,
I named a
somebody.
bunch of them, and then she was like, "Well, I recognize this, and I recognize this name, so I got a lot of work to do." And I was like, "So you gonna sit and watch anime with me?" She said, "I can give you at least a half a day of that."
Not only that, you want somebody that's gonna cosplay with you. You want somebody because I'm not even joking, y'all. I don't like anime. I don't play video games, but it's a dream of mine to go to like a Comic Con or something
Mm-hmm.
and dress up as something. I don't even know what it's gonna be at this point, right? And when I said that to my husband, who's never seen me watch or participate in any of these things, he is like, "That's what's up. I'll do that. Like we should do that." So you hit the nail on the head. Intellectual curiosity is what I call it, right? We have to remain intellectually curious about our partner, and we have to pick up on the little keynotes. Like I like to think I'm a super thoughtful person, so I could probably give my husband a thoughtful gift every other day. But for him, I know that I will probably get a thoughtful gift once or twice a year. And that actually took some like, what? Once or twice a year? Like, sir, are you not, do you know me? Are you not paying any attention? But then I started to watch the stuff that he was really listening to. One of the first things I said to him is, I need socks for life, right? Because I lose socks. And I was starting to steal his socks. 3 or 4 Christmases later, right? He buys me socks, like regular athletic socks, toe socks, all kinds of like just socks. And I was laughing hysterically. His mom was like, "Why the hell did you buy her socks? Like, what is wrong with you?" And the card said, "Here's socks for life." Then, then he made a coloring book with all the milestones in our relationship.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like, you want someone who's going to listen and remain intellectually curious. Ask the same questions you did on the first date. Some of those bullshit questions. Is your favorite color still blue?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going through a coral stage right now. So, like, just be interested in your partner. And that is what this is about. And I say it's never too late and it's never too early to build this foundation for your relationship.
Erica, you've been quiet. You ain't answered none of these hard ass questions. You got me over here spilling my guts.
I'm over here just taking it all in. I'm writing this stuff down, you know.
I ain't see you writing. Hold your notebook up.
Hey man, listen, it's right here.
And it's blurred out, so I can't.
I saw her though. I saw her.
Yeah.
I think you said a key
I'm
thing.
still spring chicken, so I gotta keep this stuff there so I can remember.
So what you trying to say is we not
No.
Wow.
I heard it. That's how I heard it.
She calls me old at least 3 times a month without calling me old.
But you know what though? This actually brings up a really good point. And nobody asked me, but I'm gonna say, Erica, you asked it, right? Communication. When we say something like that to our partner, I could get offended, right? I could say, so what you trying to say? So I'm old? Or I could say, so when you say spring chicken, tell me what you meant by that. You know what I mean? She was referring to her, not to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another thing. We build on the foundation of communication in this group.
I still feel like you called me old. Yeah, you're right. Communication.
I tried to help you, Erica. I tried.
I know. He just got it out against
communication definitely is key. We're I don't want to say going through a phase, but like I'm going through a phase to where I'm watching more of what I say because I'm seeing more of her reactions to some of the things that I'm doing, and I'm trying not to agitate her. Because I joke a lot, and sometimes I can be too much. And she noticed. She was like, you know, you used to like just say everything and tell me everything. And she was like, now you kind of like start to say something and then you won't say it. She's like, usually you come out and say it, but you won't say it. And I said, well, I've been picking up on some of your reactions, and I know that there's been a couple times I've aggravated you. So I recognize what I was doing. So rather than being obnoxious, because I'm not trying to be obnoxious, I'm like, I can curtail some of the things I say. I said, you still gonna get these jokes though, because you got jokes. You still gonna get these jokes. But I know I'm learning where the line is. So it's not that I'm keeping anything from you. It's just that I'm trying to prevent being an asshole. Cause like she's already she's already called me a butthead a couple times. And it's endearing, but at the same time it's like, ooh, that was a good joke, but ow a little bit. So I'm like, all right.
I think for me, I say a lot of controversial things. And so this is the one thing that really scares me about social media, because I'm gonna say something, somebody's gonna read me for filth, and I'm sensitive about my shit. So you said sometimes I could be extra, and the one thing I'm learning as a not so spring chicken is that if I'm extra, go find less. You know what I'm saying? Like, go find less, because I need to be me, because I spend a lot of time not being me. And so my husband and I are almost 7 years in, and we're still navigating that space, really. Because he can do a lot too. He can do a lot too. But it's like, I know he doesn't mean any harm. And I think your partner will learn that too. So y'all are in a really good spot where you're noticing, you have that intellectual curiosity to say, I saw that eyebrow go up. I don't think she liked that.
Yeah,
Let me stop. Let me take a
yeah.
pause right here. So that's really good. That's really good.
She did something else that normally I do, and I haven't had to do it often. And it really impressed me. Especially, I'm sorry, this is sexist. Especially coming from a woman. Um, Man, you know what? Maybe it does more so come from women. I don't know. But we had not even a fight. I kind of annoyed her one night over something, and she was kind of annoyed still the next day. So we talked about it, and I was leaving town. I had to come back home, and she was like, "Well, I don't want us to be apart, and like there's a thing between us. I don't want us to leave on a bad note." I was like, "Oh my god, yes, come cuddle with me. Let's talk it out." So we cuddled and we talked it out and we laughed. And she wanted to agree to disagree, and I didn't. And we got over it. It was fine. It wasn't anything big or major. Nobody yelled, screamed, or fought. I mean, nobody was quote unquote mad. It was just one of those things where there's like
Yeah.
a disconnect. Because one thing she said to me that I'm keeping in mind that I know is kind of gonna be a thing is it bothers her when she doesn't understand something.
Mm.
So I'm like, ooh, like I'm good at explaining, but sometimes I just do random shit. Sometimes there is no understanding. Like maybe I just wanted a buffalo chicken wing at 2 o'clock in the morning. I went and bought two, and I ate both, and I left you the wingtips. I don't know. Like it
Right.
might happen. There's not always gonna be understanding there, but
Yeah. That's what we call acceptance. That
right.
that is the it is what it is, right? Like I could just accept that I may not understand this thing and it happened. It's weird. Let's move forward, you know?
That's how I am. I just love the fact that she communicates. Like her level of communication is what I need. Cause I tell
Hmm.
no woman ever believes me. I'm like, yo, I suck at reading between the lines. Like you have to tell me. There's obvious things I can pick up on, like attitude and yada yada yada. But it's like there's really something like say something to me because sometimes we do things and don't realize we're doing them. Like our tone. Like you might take my
Hmm.
tone the wrong way, and I might not be meaning anything by it. But if you don't say anything, I don't know that you're probably offended, and then I'm going about everything like it's cool, but you still upset, and I don't even know why you're upset. But you expect me to know why you're upset when you can just come out and say, "Hey, I'm upset. The way you said that made me feel like this, babe. I'm sorry. I didn't
Hmm.
mean for it to come out like that. This is what I meant. If my tone was off, I apologize, but I didn't mean it like that." Solved.
Hmm.
Instead of being mad and taking all the covers and rolling up like a burrito, and I don't get none tonight or whatever, or no cuddles, no kisses. Like it's little stuff like that. So it's really great. Yeah. So this course, where did this idea come from?
That's a great question. So it came from a coloring book. It came from my coloring book, the Love and Lust coloring book. So Rob has been a great supporter. Thank you. Your background is covering my
Background covering
images.
it.
But anywho,
We ain't even recording the video, but go ahead.
um, but yeah, so I created this adult coloring book. It has some of like the traditional mandalas you find in a adult coloring book for stress relief and anxiety relief. But then there's also some like risque pictures. We basically follow a couple through the stages of intimacy all the way to the afterglow of the big O, right? And I was like, there's more to this. I actually wanted to make the coloring book a workbook. And my husband, who's more business minded than me, was like, just make the damn coloring book because otherwise you ain't going to do nothing. I was like, you're right. So I made the coloring book, and this kind of grew from that because I was like, there's something else to this. There's some conversation couples should be having. And maybe they need it to be guided a little bit. So this is where the group came from. And the fact that even in my own relationship, I'm cycling through a lot of these things. Um, I'm on this movement to show that therapists are human beings too. So I also want to say that if you see a couples therapist, if you see an individual therapist, that doesn't mean we have our lives together. That just means we have a certain skill set where we can hold space for other people and we can untangle those things for other people. So I just thought this would be a group of imperfect couples with an imperfect therapist. navigating that space.
Hmm. Interesting. Erica, it's your turn.
Yeah,
Three questions.
all right.
Challenge you, yo.
And they were nothing to do with that.
See, when you
But
do an internship, they just telling you to do
I
stuff. Go
know
ahead.
you
Yeah, yeah,
said
yeah.
like 5 minutes before we hit record. I was like, what? But I just wanted to know, like, what drew you to this line of work? I know that you said that it was about just trying to tell people and help them and everything, but what really drew you to this?
Man, I honestly, I love this question because it's nothing sexy. It's nothing like what anybody thinks it's going to be like. Basically, it was my own trauma and it was my own experiences kind of navigating. I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, and I'm finally in a place where I can say that proudly. Like, I made it through that shit, and that shit was hard. Like, it's still hard sometimes. Um, so after that, I basically went to college and wowed out. You know, that's what college is for. After once I got to a place where I was like ready to settle down, I was like, man, I don't enjoy those times. Like, sex should be enjoyable, and I was using it to like be a band aid. And I'm like, I wonder how many other girls are using sex to be a band aid. And I found out there's so many. There's so many of us because we're not having conversations about sex and sexuality growing up. And so I was like, you know what? I want to tell these women that we can have pleasurable sex because it's almost like once you realize, like, damn, I was doing some really messed up shit to try to make myself feel better. It's almost like you can't even separate the two, but you can heal from that. And I am so fortunate to have the husband that I have because he got it, right? Like, I used to be very direct. Hey, this happened to me, that happened to me, and this is what I did. Take it or leave it. And most guys is like, I'm out. Okay, thanks. Thanks for putting that up there. And my husband was like, cool. So what we gonna do about that? Like, how are we gonna fix that?
Mm.
Like, TMI, but honestly, the first man I've ever made you because I couldn't even look him in the eyes. I once that happened, it was like, oh, there's a place of healing. Like, this can be good for everybody, not just for me. And so I felt the need to share it and
Oh, you froze.
promote shame-free sex. Oh,
You froze.
am I
Okay,
back?
you're back.
Okay. I said, I promote shame-free sex because guess what? If you still in a place where you want to wild out, that's your business.
Yeah.
As long as you are a healed, healthy, whole individual, do what feels good to you, boo. Because it's not a judgment on you, but you have to do it from a place that I want to do it, not I'm doing it because this thing is driving me. So
Yes.
that's how I got here.
I like that response.
Yeah, I was waiting on you with the follow up question. Uh huh.
Oh, okay.
It's called pressure right now.
I know, I'm sweating bullets. I'm glad it's not being recorded video.
I'll bail you. I'll bail you out real quick.
Yeah.
So
Before
how long have you been doing this now? How many years?
Oh my gosh. Officially and unofficially. I
Unofficially,
feel like
officially.
yeah, unofficially, I would say, damn, since '05.
That was a good
And
year.
it's funny because it was a good year. It's actually the first time I met my husband. But anyway, um, so um, I was a mass comm major in school, and everybody was like, "Dude, why don't you go into psychology? Like, you give really good advice, and you say some really like poignant shit, especially for how fucked up my life was at the time." Um, but that's where I really started doing it, and then I got into like social services, and finally, when my husband and I reconnected, he asked me, "What do you want out of life?" And I was like, "Oh, I want to be a wife and a mother." Why? Because I thought not wilding out meant not doing anything. I thought that meant killing who I was.
Mm.
And so I just want to be a wife and a mother, and I just want to stay home and take care of the house. I am not that person. I don't know how the fuck that was gonna work. Um, so he was like, "No, you have to have something for yourself." And I started researching school, and I got back into school for therapy in 2014, and I've been doing it ever since. And it's honestly been the most fulfilling thing I've done. I started my private practice just in enough time for COVID to shut me down for 2 weeks, but God, I definitely was able to keep it going, and I have a thriving practice, and it's nothing I ever saw myself doing. So another thing is, if y'all are out there looking for a relationship, find you somebody who's trying to push you. Find you somebody who's trying to figure out how
Yes.
do we grow together. Because I think that's been the biggest blessing about my relationships.
Hold. Let me.
Thank you. Thank you. Stop. You stopped the time. No, 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 no. Stop. Okay, never mind. Sorry, go ahead.
You just hit the nail on the head. That has been one of my struggles in relationships. I've always been the super duper supporter, and it
Mm,
was not even reciprocated. I just didn't get not even 1/4 of the energy back. It was
mm,
so different. And I used to go hoard. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to go hoard on these business ventures, but usually they'd be upset because of the time away. But it's like I'm trying to set us up to get here, and this is the only way I can get it. And I understood the journey more so because I'm like, yo, I'm in the education field. The salary
yeah.
cap is low. Like, low. Like, ask the average teacher. I bet you they probably have 2 jobs. It's low. And it's
Yeah.
like, nobody wants to go to work all day, get off, and then go to work all night. It's like, man, there's a better way to do this. So be patient with us, educators. But yeah, that support definitely feels great when you have someone to champion you. Also, this is a very special skill that more people need to learn. Sometimes people just need you to listen. They don't want your opinion. They
Mm,
don't want your advice.
mhm.
Sometimes they just need you to listen. And I told my girlfriend, I said, I know how to just listen and shut the hell up. And I said, whenever I want to give you my opinion, I'll say, would you like my opinion? And if you say no, I will take zero offense to that because you didn't
Eh,
want it and I ain't got to give it. That's less talking I got to do. Okay, we both
Yes.
win. So, and
That's
I,
a good session for me. When a client just comes in and they're rattling off and they'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want?" I said, "Do you want me to say something?" And they'll say, "No, I just need to get this out." Cool.
cool.
Like that's what you need for the hour. When friends call me and they're like, "This thing happened," I'm like, "What do you need? Would you like my therapeutic advice, my friendship advice, or do you just want me to shut up and listen?"
Yep.
And they'll tell me exactly what they need.
Yep. And we've had a couple conversations like that. Sometimes you just need that, man. You just need to be like,
Hmm.
oh, that felt good to say without judgment, without shame, without guilt. Like it just feels so
Yeah.
good to do that. Yes, 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 yes,
it's
yes.
it's funny because they say there's plenty of fish in the sea, right? And so I think about if we are ships out on the sea,
Mm-hmm.
the relationship is the harbor. The relationship is that safe place where
Mm-hmm.
you can go and be anchored and be with someone who's going to feed your soul, your spirit, and then you can go back out to sea because you talk about your business ventures. My husband and I are both entrepreneurs, and we probably work more now than we ever worked when we were working for somebody else. And
Mm-hmm.
it took me a lot to realize if I want a man who's going to be enterprising and have his own and chase his, I have to respect the fact, like he's in a meeting right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to respect that we thought entrepreneurship was working whenever we wanted to. Nah, that shit is working 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
If you're gonna give the
Erica, you
blood,
ready for me?
Yes.
oh,
Um.
oh,
Yeah. I had time to brainstorm, but yeah, I was just gonna ask, what has been like the most challenging thing for you revolving sex therapy and counseling?
That's a really good question.
did you just Tiger
Man,
Woods fist pump? I need a drink.
yes. Oh, damn, that's a really good question. Think, wow, I think for me, especially where couples are concerned, is what we call discordant desire. So a lot of times in the mainstream, you hear men want it all the time, women don't want sex, right? And that is not 100% true. Sometimes it's the other way around, but really helping a partner to understand that it's not about the fact that they don't want you. It can be so many things. And my God, it is hard pinpointing what exactly it is, right? Some people don't have sex when they're anxious. Some people, if they're stressed out, they can't have sex. And then other people are like, I need to have sex because I have to,
Mhm.
relieve this stress, or I need to be close to my partner. And I think the hardest part is taking away the shame, I think, that comes along with that. So if you have a partner who doesn't want to have sex as much, they feel like something's wrong with me. I'm broken. I literally get so many emails a week. I just want you to fix me. I just want you to,
Oh.
I'm broken. Like, tell me when this happened. And I have to say, you're not broken. You're functioning exactly the way you might need to function, right? Um, if you further niche down what I do, whatever the word is, I specifically work in the area of postpartum, and so it was amazing to me to find out how many men lose their sex drive after a woman has had a baby. And society, we think it's got something to do with the way she looks. Nah, he losing sleep too. He ain't sleeping either. Because let me tell y'all, my husband was not a nighttime feeder, but if I had to be up, you had to be
Mm.
up. So, you know what I mean? So just making sure that um couples understand that desire looks different. It's not gonna always, oh man, when we was in college, we used to sneak off and go and do it in the bathroom. Y'all ain't in college no more. I,
Nope.
Me and my husband work from home. We see each other, and I'm doing quote fingers, podcast land. We see each other 24 hours a day, but how much time do we actually have to be with each other? Not a whole lot, because we have a toddler who's also at home, So that's been the rough part for me.
Mm. That balance.
That balance is
That
something. I got a client who don't even want me to say balance. Like, she like, you say balance one more time. I'm coming through this system. So
It's funny that back to the subject of just discussions you should have. Like, that's a discussion I now have, especially after that last podcast interview. With us. I'm sorry. Hold up. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the '70s fro comment he made. Oh, let me gather myself
okay,
up.
so I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hear that one, but if I think
His
you're going where
so
you go?
okay. So Carl, not Carl Vann, owner of Platinum Treasures. Carl the toy guy was talking about making sure you have the conversation with your partner about sex in general. Like, what is your sex drive typically like? Do's and don'ts, what you like, what you don't like. Obviously, y'all gonna explore each other and learn new things. And me and my girlfriend had that talk as well. And I think it's important to have that talk because I've been in situations where I thought it was gonna be one way, and what's the word? I adjusted my expectations.
You
But
gotta pivot.
yeah, I pivoted. I said, okay. But then we started having sex. They wanted it like as much as I did, if not more. Sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, where'd this come from? I like it. And then, and then they start to feel guilty about premarital sex.
Hmm.
So then it just stopped. So I'm just on
Ooh.
this roll. I'm on this non-sexual roller coaster, and we're not married. Not I don't. Not that that makes a difference. It's your body. I can't do anything. If you say no, then that's it. Like,
That's
it
it.
don't.
Yep.
It ain't even a discussion. It's like, nah, I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah.
You staying with me or no? I was like, oh shit, that's a brick wall if I ever seen one. A tall one too. Um,
That's another thing I work with though. There's a lot of religious trauma. I work with married, mostly women,
mhm.
married women who can't have sex with their husbands because the church does a really great job of telling you don't have sex until you get married, be a good wife, but they do a shitty job with telling you, well, what happens when I get married? What happens when I am a wife? How do I be a good wife? So, I have people who struggle and they're not married because of, religious indoctrination, and people who struggle when they are married. So that, I think the thing to remember is this is all about seasons. I mean, there are going to be seasons, and trauma plays a role in it. Um, you mentioned this but didn't mention it, but like the 70s bush thing. Can we talk about that for a second? If we're talking about pubic hair, let's talk about that for just a minute. Because this is a sensitive subject for me,
Is
okay?
it?
It is okay, so that's not my situation currently, but let me tell you why it is it's a situation because trauma, right? So let's say someone is a survivor of child sexual abuse.
Mhm.
Let's say it was prepubescent. So there's nothing there, right? And then you, grown ass man who she loves and trusts, tells her, I don't fuck with girls with hair down there. How traumatic is that?
Mm.
Like, oh my God. Because now my body looks very similar to the way it did when this thing happened to me that
Mm.
really hurt me. And guys, women, pubic hair is there as a safety measure for your body. It stops particles from getting where particles aren't supposed to be. Like, you need to have it. It's there, everything on your body. I can give you a scientific reason why you have it. It's the same reason you have eyelashes. And you wouldn't ask somebody to pluck out their eyelashes. So let's be mindful when we're asking these things of our partners, because when we're communicating what we want and need, we
Mm.
also have to think, what's the benefit and what is the cost?
Mm.
And not what is it costing me not to get this thing? What is it costing my partner to give me this thing? Like a personal journey of mine, I did not wear lotion for a very long time.
Mm.
Why? Because my assailant, I don't know what to call him, that guy was like, I love the way you put on lotion. Oh, great. Then I'm going to be ashy.
Mm.
then
Makes sense.
then I will never put on lotion again. When I tell you I had to be 26 when I started putting on lotion again, and I'm soft and supple now. I'm soft and supple. Y'all don't play me. But I'm just saying, it took me a really long time to do that. If I couldn't do an in-shower moisturizer, I wasn't gonna do it.
Mm.
So I don't know if that's where you was going with the 70s bush thing, but I felt the need to put it out there because some women are doing it as a protection for them.
No, he
Some
actually
men.
he cracked
Go
this
ahead.
joke about men saying like how women won't go down on them, but he's like, yo, and talking about hygiene, he's like, you got the 70s
Oh,
fro down there, like I'm actually a fan of the hair, but I'll just stop right there, sorry Erica. Oh, you 21 now, so you really about to
I was say it gets
yeah,
real, okay?
yeah,
It gets
so yeah,
real.
I mean, I'm like this, as long as it's clean, um
Absolutely.
and it
Because
doesn't get in the
hygiene
way of
is
what
a
I'm
must.
trying to do, then or what we're trying to do rather. So yeah, no, I'm not like a hey, you gotta get rid of that. Like I've actually, you
Yeah.
want me to keep this? I'm uncomfortable. Do what you want to do. I'm just telling you it's not a problem for me, okay? Um
Do what works exactly. Do
right.
what works for you. But hygiene is a must. Absolutely. He is
Yes.
100% correct with
All right, I think I've
that.
weirded out Erica enough.
she 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 owes me one more though. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
get
you
that.
do. You do.
Yeah, yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
got one. I got one.
It's got to be juicy too, or you're fired.
Oh, come on,
Okay.
man.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
Just
kidding.
weighing on me.
Nah, you good.
But have you ever had like a couple where you just knew that they weren't compatible? Like they tried
All the
everything.
time. All of the time. All the
Dang.
time. So it's funny to me, probably not so much to the couple, because I let them know straight off that sometimes we come into session with, I ask you, what is your goal? So sometimes their goal is, I want to have more sex and I want him or her to want me. You know what I mean? They want that rip my clothes off passion. And I tell them, great. So that's what we're going to work towards, because the relationship is my client, not the individual person. And I will let them know that sometimes as we're talking, we will feel the goal shift. The goal becomes, I want my partner to realize that I'm only going to have sex twice a month, and that is non-negotiable. Like, this is where we're going to be. And so they have to understand that. I have assisted couples or guided couples, I'm not really sure how to say that, to amicably dissolving their relationships. I have helped look at alternative relationships. And so this includes polyamory, swingers, BDSM, um, like a plethora of things, because maybe love isn't the foundation of our relationship. Maybe security is. That's another thing. We have to be honest about why we are getting married. Um, so yes, I have had clients who are just not compatible, and were not clear on why they were together in the first place and what they needed from the relationship. And I allowed them to see that. Never have I ever been like, y'all just need to break up. Y'all just, I haven't gotten there yet. I've been close. Like, y'all is, thank you for paying me, but I can't right now. But yeah, they usually come to that conclusion on their own, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Even when they're dissolving their relationship, the fact that they've already decided, like, okay, maybe we won't be together, but we're gonna come back for next week's session so we figure out what that looks like. And it's actually been an amazing thing to watch. So yeah.
Erica with the closing question.
Thank you. She did good. Those are good questions. Yes.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for your time and your knowledge and your experience. Can you tell the people where they can find you once again and where they can sign up?
Absolutely. So if you go to envisioncounselingllc.com, that's invisioncounselingllc.com. The first thing that will come up is the group. There is a questionnaire on the first page. Fill that out. Tell me why you want to be a part of the group, what you're seeking from the group. We'll set up a consult and we will do a conversation, like have a conversation about if you are right for the group. When I say that, people wonder, well, what could disqualify me from the group? I would say if you're having like a recent infidelity or a recent huge misunderstanding in your relationship, and you're still at a point where I want to cuss my partner out, this isn't really the time for us to be talking about intimacy, but maybe we can talk about what it looks like to get into couples counseling. So do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can also find me on Instagram at Envision Counseling and on the TikToks at Controversy. The spelling is at the beginning of the podcast because that was a lot for me. But thank y'all so much for having me. It's always a really good time.
No problem. All of that information will be in the description. We're going to actually post it on our Instagram page as well, FME_podcast. And of course, in our Facebook group, From My Experience Podcast. We love to show support to our Black business owners. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're headed out here, you know. And take care of yourselves, man. You know, it's 2021. You know, the COVID cooties are still around. I'm gonna encourage y'all to continue to mask up and wash your hands and wash your ass and be safe. I have so much on my mind and I'm tired. This was a great episode. I needed this. Thank you again, Jessica. Thank you again, Erica, for showing up and showing out and putting up with my foolishness.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you again, grown ass woman over there. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, you can support the show by shopping with our affiliates, following us, liking, subscribing, sharing. Do the same with Miss Jessica over there. Make sure you check out Envision Counseling. Check out her links.
Get your coloring book.
Get you a coloring book. And even if it's not you that needs to be in the group, maybe you got a friend or a friend of a friend. Suggest someone, recommend someone. It might be just what they need. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves physically, mentally, financially, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.